Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy True Inferno with another Pokemon Go video. So as you all know, I went to Pokemon Go Fest this past weekend, and I gave y'all 3 videos, with the third one being released earlier today, which is Wednesday, July the 26th. That's today's date. And I talked about some of the positives that I personally experienced at Go Fest, but now we're going to talk about the negatives that went down at Go Fest, whether I experienced them or other people experienced them. Speaking of other people, I went to Go Fest as part of a bus group, and I talked to some of these people on Facebook and asked for their negative experiences at Go Fest, and 4 came out and shared their own issues in regards to how Niantic handled Go Fest in general. So we're going to start off with the first comment. I'm not going to give out their full names, so we're going to start off with the first comment I received from Trent. And basically he says the 100% catch rate legendary raids were in effect for everyone in Chicago. So let me break that down real quick. So as you all know, during Go Fest, they extended the whole event by a 2-mile radius of Grant Park, where after Go Fest ended, what they did was they released the legendary raids, and at some point after that, they made all the catches 100%. Like, so if you beat the raid and you had to catch Lugia or Articuno, you were given a 100% catch rate. But here's the problem with that. Well, there's a number of problems with that, but here's the main problem with that. This is for anybody who were in that 2-mile radius of Grant Park. Not anybody who was in 2-mile radius of Grant Park and had that QR code, or whatever that code was called. Anybody. It don't matter who you are. So you know what that means, right? Spoopers. So spoopers would just spoop all around Grant Park and catch these legendary Pokemon with ease. And they were using pineapples so they can get that candy up. That Lugia candy, that Articuno candy, they were using pineapples to get that candy up, man. And it was stupid. What they should have done was they should have made it to a point where if you was in a 2-mile radius and had that code in the game, or just say if you have the code in the game, then your catches will be 100%, while everybody else across the world will not be. You know, they start off at 2%, then they raised it to 3%, and it's like, and it didn't matter whether you was at Go Fest or not, whether you put the code in successfully or not, it don't matter. As you was not in that 2-mile radius of Grant Park, you would not get that 100% catch rate. And that's whether you went to Go Fest or not. And that is completely stupid right there. Now the next comment comes from Chris, and this one is really deep. This one's really deep. Not a lot of people talk about this one. Not Hybrid Mongoose, not Training Tips, not Mr. 7. Not a lot of people talk about this. You know, no knock to them, but I'm just saying, not a lot of people talk about this. I didn't consider this, so I'm glad that Chris shared this with me. And that is this. Niantic failed on the ADA compliance stuff. Not mine, but his wife has MS and uses a scooter for mobility, and there was no accommodations for her. The email was very misleading. Now, if you go on to, that whole Pokemon Go Fest website, the official website, you can easily Google it. Just type in Pokemon Go Fest, and it should take you to their website, which is under PokemonGo.nianticlabs.com/fest, or it'll take you to PokemonGo.live.com/events/fest/Chicago. And you go all the way down to the bottom of the website, and you will see a number of stuff. And some of the stuff they added last minute. And the 4, well, we're going to say the 3 things. The 3 things you should pay attention to in regards to the ADA scenario and the patrons with mobility limitations, rather, is this: ADA access and accommodations, ADA festival interest, and Patreons with mobility limitations. They failed in all 3 categories. They really did. I did not see anything that was geared towards those with mobility issues or with ADA or whatever the case may be. I'm not familiar with any of that stuff because I don't know anybody who fits under that category. That's not a knock against them. It's just that I just don't know anybody with that stuff. So if you know anybody who is like not suited, what's the right word here, who falls under that category, I guess we'll call it that, and you didn't see any type of combinations, you know, laid out for him, yeah, you should be upset. Matter of fact, in that long line, I saw a kid, like, well, I guess you could say he was a teenager, but he was blind, so you know he had the blind stick. Again, I don't know what they call that because again, I don't know anybody who's blind or anything like that, so they may have a special term for that. But he had that blind stick or whatever, and he had to wait in that long line. That's ridiculous. There should be entry race, you know, specific for those who have some type of limitations or disabilities. But there was nothing like that there. So yeah, Niantic, they failed on that front right there. The next comment comes from the one who actually organized this whole bus trip, and Caitlin. She's the one who hooked me up with a ticket, but not hooked me up, but gave me the opportunity to buy a ticket rather. And she said this, and this is really addressing those who had to leave GoFest right away, like we did. She said, if they had given us a single indication about the catch rate, I would have tried something to get us to stay. They super screwed everyone who went to GoFest, that is, but couldn't stay in Chicago. The Pokemon Go Live Fest, or Pokemon Go Fest rather, was from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on July 22nd, not July 22nd to July the 24th. You know, that's basically how it went down, really. That's pretty much a shame right there. Now, the last comment comes from Danielle. This one was an eye-opener for me right here. And she said, and I quote, the thing that pissed me off the most was that we had to wait in another line just to leave. When I heard that, I was like, what? There was another line? But then if you watch my third video, which again I released today, there was that one part when I was like, what is this crowd doing here? Like, this was when Trainer Tips and Reverso, they was walking away from the stage and were going towards that crowd. And I'm looking at it like, what is this? And now that I think about it, that's the line. And that was indeed a long line to get out of GoFest. It was really crazy. Yeah, so it was really crazy. This was at the 5 o'clock stage. So let me combine Danielle's comment with Caitlin's comment real quick. This was at 5 o'clock and people wanted to leave already because at that point it was over. Well, Niantic, if you're gonna release those Lugia raids and the Articuno raids, why not release them at 5:30? Why not release them at 6 o'clock? Put that 100% catch rate bonus in effect around that time. Why didn't they do that? I bet you everybody on the bus and everybody who had to leave Chicago right away would have been so much more happy. Or happy, period. If they done that instead of saying, hey, let's wait until some people leave Chicago, then we go activate all this stuff. No, that's stupid. That's very, very stupid. So that's like the 4 comments that I received from my Facebook group. Now let's get on some of the stuff that I want to talk about, whether other people talk about already or not. So the first one is indeed the long lines. So if you had an early wristband, then you were in a long line yourself. If you didn't, you were in a longer line, which varied from an hour and a half at the very least to, I believe somebody said 3 hours? It is crazy. It's ridiculous. They should have had more entry raids. And security, I guess at the beginning they were checking people's bags to make sure that they followed the prohibited items thing. But once they saw how long the line was, they said, screw that. We're just going to look for the more important stuff like guns and alcohol, things of that nature. And then we just let them go. And we get more on that later. So yeah, that long line was ridiculous. It should not be an hour-and-a-half plus line, or rate rather, just to get in an event. That's stupid. And once people got in, people had a hard time registering their codes. So some people couldn't even do it. Based on what I heard, some people couldn't even do it at all. So that's a shame right there, man. And which leads me to the number one thing that went wrong with GoFest, and that's the connection/server issues. So now here's the one thing I did not know, and I did not find out until I saw Trainer Tips video, and he was discussing his 2 cents about GoFest. He had media pass, so he was behind the scenes. He was able to talk to John Hankey, I believe that's what his name is, who was the CEO of Niantic. I believe that's his title as well. And basically what happened was Niantic, I don't know when they did this, but it was recent prior to GoFest, but they was like, hey, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and who the other one? Verizon, and this phone carrier, this phone, provider in Chicago. We're having an event here. We need some backup to make sure this event runs smoothly. And with the exception of Sprint, and obviously Boost Mobile since they're under Sprint, every other phone carrier in the area was like, man, why y'all worry about Niantic? Y'all got this. Y'all have nothing to worry about. Y'all don't need any more help from us. Sprint was on the ball like, you know what? We got y'all. We're going to bring in our own equipment and help y'all out. Everybody else? Nah, y'all got this. Everybody else? They did not get this. And then I heard that Verizon spoke out and said, this ain't our fault. That's Niantic's fault. So, and I don't know what the details behind that, the point the finger at game or whatever. I don't know the whole detail behind Verizon's comments in regards to them blaming Niantic for their own issues. So, Verizon users and wherever carrier under Verizon, did you have any difficulty playing Pokemon Go at Go Fest? I mean, were you able to connect? Did you play at all? Were you able to get anything really? If you were, then this is not an issue. But if you were not, then somebody's lying. Because obviously, something went wrong on Verizon's end. When I mean Verizon's end, I mean the people who uses Verizon. Something went wrong on their behalf, and it's either Verizon's fault or it's Niantic's fault. And if I had to put my 2 cents in, I'm going with it's not Niantic, because Niantic over here. I'm going with it's Verizon's fault. Because Niantic came to them and said, hey, we need some help with this. And apparently Verizon said, y'all got this. And then they turned around and said, it's your fault. Now, let's get on to the rules. The things that were not allowed in Go Fest, but yet they were still there anywhere. And I will point this stuff out to you by a song.
Go without a lease, hey, hey. Or go on by Greece, hey, hey. Load yourself T6, hey, hey. Baby with ease, hey, hey.
But no, on the serious note, if you again go to that official Pokemon Go Fest website and go to the bottom and click on things that are allowed and not allowed, prohibited things of that nature, I want to say about half of those things that were not allowed were still in there anyway. And we talking e-cigs, vaporizer, and people were smoking, by the way, which was not on the list. But if you would have done some digging, the smoking is not allowed in Illinois. It's not allowed in Illinois. But yeah, people were smoking, people were vaping, people had umbrellas, people brought in their own water bottles, people brought in open water bottles, people had hammocks. I think I said people had umbrellas already. People had, matter of fact, somebody had a gigantic long tripod in there. Crap it out. Somebody brought in a dog without a leash. And the person brought it in, there was nothing wrong with them. They were completely fine. So that was pretty crazy right there. And there was other stuff that was in there that I can't think of in the top of my mind. But whoever was running the gate, they did a terrible job. Because otherwise, I would have brought this camera in. Because this is a brand new camera that I'm shooting right here. I would have brought that in. And the video quality for my video would have been so much better if I would have brought this in. So, speaking of security, there was no security to watch over the lines for the meet and greet. Now, Mr. 7 had his own unofficial meet and greet inside the Mr. tent, but trainer tips and reversal, those meet and greets were official. They was legit. The one took place at the Sprint booth, another one took place at the Boost Mobile booth. There was another meet and greet for probably some other YouTubers that took place at the Sprint booth, but there was no security watching over the lines. There was security watching over the celebrities, but not watching the lines. And speaking of lines, there was no velvet rope or any type of structure to indicate, hey, this is a line, or to get people to line up in this fashion or in this manner. Because people would like run through these lines, people would cut through these lines, and people would look like, really, y'all don't see this line here? Cause I was like that when I was meeting trainer tips, and people were like cut through these, they would cut through these lines, and they would just walk through these lines wherever. I'm like, man, close this freaking gap. Yeah, they need to do a better job of that. Now the last two things I want to talk about, they're kind of small. The next one is really, there was live stream issues, and again, I was there. It wasn't like I was here watching it all go down for the comfort of my own home. So that doesn't bother me at all. But I heard there was live stream issues. And then the last thing is the location could have been bigger. The location of Go Fest rather. Because there was like other parts of the park that they didn't use unless it was for people to line up at, and they could have easily used that for GoFest. They could have easily used that for GoFest, and they probably would have fixed their server issues. And another thing that would have fixed their server issues outside of them bringing in more hotspots is, and some of you may not like this, they should have went up on the price of admission, because that mug was like $26 and some change. They could have easily bumped that up to $40, $45. Half of that could have went to Niantic's pocket. The other half would have went towards hotspots. And guess what? The event would have been ran that much better. Now, obviously, they're going to be scalpers, scalpers and things of that nature. And maybe that would have went down. So, Niantic, I hope you learned your lesson with this one. This was more like a guinea pig event for them. Them testing the waters for this real life event, because they're doing more. And matter of fact, there was one going on at the same time as GoFest that Saturday. They're going to do more in Europe. They're going to do that Pikachu outbreak in Japan. And who knows what they're going to do after that. So, yeah, there you go with that, man. Y'all know who this is. This is the new Jake Ashby, a.k.a. the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.